Well, good morning. It's Wednesday the 10th of July. Just a quick update now on the hops where we are. You can see the target over there in the distance. The sun's just come up. It's about 5:45 in the morning here. Everything's growing pretty well. Just a little bit dry on the soil now. We haven't had rain for about a week and a half, and the weather's very hot, so the plants are starting to dry out a little bit. But so we're down at the target here, and you can see down here that there's some rabbit fencing that's been put up. This is to keep the rabbits away. Electric fence. Dexter's a little bit nervous about it. Hey Dex. Yeah, he's a little bit nervous about the fence, doesn't know what to make of it. But the Bramling Cross was started to be planted yesterday. First step, you can see here, is to dig out the holes. And yeah, Dexter's just checking that out. And to put in a peg. So you can see that the peg is where this string will be attached to eventually. And then, so yesterday some of the Bramling Cross hops have been going in, these plants have been going in. And a little bit of, Dex, come out of the way, a little bit of slug pellet in there just to stop any slugs getting at them, because this fresh lush growth will be like heaven sent for some of the slugs if they're about. So you can see first part of this yard has been planted, about 8 rows across here, and then the rest of the yard is still to go. So these guys will be busy working, and very hot temperatures today again forecast, so they'll be working today putting these plants in. These plants won't yield anything this year. They'll be strung. We'll put some string up them just to let them grow away from the ground, get them off the floor. But they won't actually grow a crop this year. They won't be harvested. Next year they'll be, well, depending on the season, depending on the weather, there might be half a crop or 2/3 of a crop, and then in the third year we might get into a full crop or somewhere near. So it takes a little bit of a while to get these plants established. They don't just start producing straight away. And you can see, as I said before, we're planting plants, not seeds. The hop is a dioecious plant, which basically means it has male and female plants. So there are 2 separate plants. The males are generally no good to us at all for brewing. They don't produce any cones. So what we have to do is to make sure that we're planting females, and also make sure we're planting varieties that are true to type. Each time you get a seed, it'll be a new variety. So we're looking to clone the hops, basically take cuttings from the original plants, and then grow them on, propagate them on to this stage where they can be planted out. So take cuttings and propagate them on. So that's where how we plant a new hop yard. We can see on the right hand side here the target looking quite well, just starting to show a little bit of signs of yellowing on there, but nothing serious to worry about. I think most of the aphid are now under control, and you can see they're right at the tops of the wires, and they're starting to set cone sites, so hopefully there'll be lots of those by the time we get round to burr stage. Again, the burr stage is something we can look at. Again, it relates to the male and female different plants and setting of cones, or producing pollen, which the male plants do. So there's the target in there. Well, Dexter and I have made our way down to the Gouldings, and you can see they're looking quite well. They're starting to come over the tops of the wires now, tops of the wire work, and also you can see on the Gouldings they're starting to produce these long laterals, which are typical of the Goulding variety. The laterals are the stems which come out of the side of the plant, usually in pairs, and that's where they carry all the fruit. All the hop cones will be on those, hopefully. So fingers crossed, hopefully that'll develop into a nice crop. But so far so good. They're still a little bit behind where they are normally at this time of year, but let's hope this warm weather encourages them on and keeps them growing well. No pests or diseases visible at the moment. Everything looks pretty tidy. So well done to Richard, doing a good job in here, keeping on top of everything, but quite promising. Let's keep our fingers crossed. Well, we've worked our way over to the sovereign patch, and you can see it's a lovely morning here, lovely summer morning. Mist is just starting to rise, sun's coming through, and the Sovereign here looking okay. I wouldn't say they're looking fantastic at the moment. They're growing quite well, but still got a little bit of a way to go. As I said before, I think I tend to get a little bit worried at this stage of the year with the hedgerow hops. They don't tend to look as strong as the tall hops, but they do grow up and catch up a bit later on. And this is the Sovereign Endeavour row. Quite amazing to see the change in these hops over the last few months. The Sovereign on the right hand side and the Endeavour on the left. I think at one stage the Endeavour were way behind the Sovereign, but they're looking pretty equal, and if anything the Endeavour have gone past the Sovereign a little bit in terms of the growth there. Let's just take a look at these. They're looking well. Bit of dew on the leaves this morning, and you can see lots of sites where those cones will hopefully form, and getting up towards the tops of the wire, starting to fill up in the top end there, which are looking pretty good. On the other side here on the Sovereign, again similar sort of story, slightly paler leaves on the Sovereign. They tend to grow less leaf and more cone, which is very good for the growers. They yield very well, this variety, but you can see again on there's a bit of dew from the morning here, sunny morning, but looking well. So that's the end of our walk this morning. Dexter on our way back home now for some breakfast, but you can just see in the grass field we were walking through the other day where all the pollen was. You can see now that the hay's been baled up, and the field's looking a lot tidier, but the growers have been making hay while the sun shines, as the old saying goes. A lovely time for haymaking. There'll be lots of good hay available, but contrary to last year where we had so much rain at this time of year that very little hay was made and the prices went through the roof. So I think a bit of a different story for this year. But there we go. Anyway, we're going to have some breakfast. We'll see you next time.